Hello and welcome to Riding in the Weeds. This is episode 127. You are here with Jenny and Tosh. However, I think you'll notice that this is a little bit of a unique introduction today because we are not in our standard format. So we thought this week we would bring you the future visioning workshop that we did a week or so ago now. It just was so great and everyone had so many awesome results that we thought we would share it with you all. So come along for the ride with us. This episode is probably best viewed if you are somewhere that you can take a few minutes to journal or write. You can certainly listen to it in the car or while you're cooking dinner, but you won't get the advantage of being able to do the activities in the moment. So if you want to listen to it that way and then come back to it again later when you've got some time to sit down, that would probably be the best way to take the most advantage of the things that are in this episode for you. So get yourself a timer, grab your favorite beverage and your favorite journal and pen, and make yourself cozy and comfortable, and let's get started. You'll want to set your timer for 6 or 7 minutes when we hit the writing portion, but you can just pause the episode and take whatever time you like. The most important thing is that you put your pen to paper and don't stop writing.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Welcome to our future visioning workshop. I don't know if you know, but today, well, you probably do. It is 111, which is obviously a magic number. And I've seen a bunch of stuff on Instagram around this is the day to sit down and really set your visions, set your intentions for the year, because aligning in this energy is stronger than aligning other times. It's always super powerful to sit down and do this exercise, but there are certain times when there is the power of the universe that is also here with us. Okay, so I am Natasha Lockie, for any of you that do not know me, and I am, for those of you who know Jenny. So Jenny and I do the Riding in the Weeds podcast together. And our whole energy around the podcast is basically getting out of your own way. It's the idea that we're all in this together. Being a human is to be in a space where sometimes we get stuck in the weeds, and it's all about how do we keep moving and not stay in the weeds. And so one of my favorite things to do is this workshop. And every time I've done it, I look at what people have done several weeks or months or whatever later, and it's just, it astounds me how quickly this actually can unblock so many things. But yeah, I'm Natasha. I have a business consulting business. I set people up for online courses. I do websites, and I do coaching around getting out of your own way. My sort of journey with this is everything I've done. I generally am kind of taking big leaps, but I don't do big leaps. I do big dreams and then little steps. And my biggest thing around this in 2021, my husband and I decided that we were going to go to Mexico. And what it looked like from the outside is we were like, hey, you know what? Let's just sell everything. We're going to go to Mexico and we're going to go live on the Baja. What it really looked like was we very cautiously took the step. We researched everything. We then crossed the border. It took us 2 months to get from the Canadian border to the Mexican border. And the reason we chose the location we chose was because we had friends that were already there. We'd been there before, and we had a bunch of friends along the way. And it was a bunch of small steps. The first day, we crossed the border and we drove 20 miles. And then we stopped at a campground that we love. And we stayed there for 3 days. And then we were like, okay, we've got this. We know how to use the solar system. And we went like 100 miles. And we were going to stay there for a few days until I looked at the weather and was like, oh, no, there's a storm chasing us down. We got to go. And so then we drove to our next friend's house and we stayed there for a couple of days. And then we drove to another friend's house. We were there for a week. And then we went to another friend's house and we were there for a few days. And then we got to Lake Mead and we were there for 10 days. And then we were done with friends. And it was like, okay, now we've got to make a big leap. But I made like, okay, so we're going to like have a so, and I made a booking at a campground. And it was the only way my nervous system could handle the fact that we were doing this massive thing that was so new to us and so far out of our comfort zone, was by taking small little steps. But at the same time, I knew what our North Star was. I knew where we were going, right? And that is the key. And then sometimes, like, as long as you know your North Star and the feeling that you're going for, you might not actually end up there. You might end up somewhere else. We might have found somewhere halfway down the Baja and been like, you know what, this is actually awesome. We're going to stay here for a month or so. If it hadn't have been for our friends that we were going to see, we probably would have, because they got to a point where Holly started to think that we possibly had been abducted by the cartel and were never arriving. She's like, where are you? What is going on? So we figured we should hightail it to our destination. But that's what this is all about. So what we're going to do together is we're going to work on our future vision, and then we're going to work together on setting out some action steps. So this is an interactive workshop. I'm going to let Ginny just introduce herself really quickly. And then actually from there, actually, no, let me just explain what we're going to do. Then I'll let Ginny introduce herself. She can tell any stories she wants to tell. Then she's going to do a meditation, and we're going to dive right on into this. So what we are going to do is Ginny is going to drop us into a meditation. The whole idea behind this future visioning, so make sure you've got your journal out. So I'm going to put the timer on for 6 minutes, and we are going to write. Our pen does not leave the paper for 6 minutes. And the time zone we're going to go for is this time next year. So it's January 2027. And we're talking about what has happened in the present tense, in the future. You would not believe the experience that I have had in the last year. It feels so good to be me. I have achieved so many things. I set out at the beginning of 2026 to expand my business, to improve my health, to take a trip to Peru, and whatever it is. And so really stepping into what you're going to do, but then pulling back from the to-do list and talking about how that felt. My husband just understands me, and it feels so good to be in this relationship. We have date night every week, and to sit with him, and I feel so comfortable to share my vulnerabilities, and it just feels good and comfortable, and like a warm hug, like a warm bath, like whatever it is, but really pulling in those emotive feeling spaces. It's not just, I go on a date night every week with my husband, and we have conversations, and the kids are doing really good, and they're achieving great things at school. It's not a to-do list. It is a feeling space, because when we feel it, then we can actually really be in it. Does that make sense? All right, that's enough of me talking. I'm going to hand the mic over to Ginny, and she's going to drop us into the meditation. When she's finished the meditation, I will set the timer, and we'll move forward from there. Does anyone have any questions? Seems pretty straightforward, right? Okay, Ginny, all you.
Hello, everybody. Everybody hear me? Awesome. I am Ginny Brandon. I'm an animal communicator and energy healer for animals and their people too. Tosh and I have been running the podcast now. We're in our 4th season, and I think we've known each other for a little longer than that. But we discovered pretty early on, we were in a coaching container together, and discovered that my animal work and my horseback riding was very, very similar to her mountain biking experiences, and that our passions were giving us lessons that were helping in life. And so out of those conversations, Riding in the Weeds was born. And so we aim to really share how the active things in our lives are able to help us inform how we move through when we get stuck in the weeds, because that's life, right? That just happens all the time. So it's a constant like ebb and flow of figuring out how to get out of the weeds when you find yourself in them. And so that's where Tosh and I bring our talents together so that we can share more of those stories and tools and stuff. And we have a lot of fun along the way. So that's part of this. So I have been an animal communicator now for, I don't know, like 8 or 10 years, somewhere in there. And I love working with people and their pets and helping support them through energetic challenges, emotional challenges, things like that. And also just getting to know their pets better and learning about life from their perspective. I work with horses on a regular basis. I have my own. I foster another horse with him. And then I have 2 cats right now. And I have some dogs and chinchillas who have previously crossed over. So I surrounded myself with animals as soon as they could when I became an adult because I didn't grow up with them. So I spent a lot of time deep diving into relationships with animals and things like that. So this my geek out stuff. So along the way, I learned that it is really important to get embodied and to be present. And so that's one of my skills that I like to share. So if you all want to settle in, we'll get started with the meditation. Just get comfortable in wherever you are. You can close your eyes and find your space where you are here. January can seem kind of rushed as we flow right out of the holidays into the new year, and we're busy setting goals and intentions. And it's kind of important when we're doing this work to stop for a moment and arrive here and now. So just take a moment to notice your breath. No changes. You're not trying to make anything any different than what it is. We're just beginning to notice ourselves in this moment and observe your state. So, how are you feeling right now? Notice where your body is in the chair, the feel of the cushions or blankets or anything around you, the feel of your clothes against your skin. And let's take a second to find our legs. Find your feet. Find the lower half of your body. It exists all the time as a part of you, and yet so often we don't exist in that part of our body. So let's really connect in with our connection to the earth. So through your feet, through your legs, through your seat, your hips, really feel that weight of gravity connecting you down into our planet. There's always a channel of energy that exists that we can tap into through the earth at any moment in time. So see if you can notice that feeling, that connectivity. We are all connected in this container through that earth connection across space and time and continents around the world at the moment. And so just feel that and just notice it. So from this place, we're going to tap into 2027. From this space, just sink into what it feels like to be in the beginning of 2027. Notice how your body feels. Notice how your energy field around you feels. And really tap into the sensations, the experience, the energy of 2027. So let's find that felt sense in the body. This is you 365 days from now. And you are you through all of the experiences of the next 12 months. They're now behind you. And we're just really going to settle into what this feels like. So maintain that feeling in your body and kind of come back into your awareness. Bring yourself into the present room. And softly open your eyes, wiggle your fingers and toes if you need to. And then you're going to reach for your pen. And we're going to start the timer and write, just pen to paper, write about this experience of you, January 2027.
So just a reminder, you've got 7 minutes and it's just pen to paper, really just feeling into where we are. You can think about it like having a chat with your girlfriend, or maybe you're writing a letter to yourself. What has happened? How does it feel? And just all of the amazing things that have happened in the last year. And remember, it's not a to-do list. It's a to-feel list. Remember, keep writing. Dig deep. How does it feel? What does it look like? What are the smells? Okay, so very slowly bring it to a close. So when you're ready, just come back to the space. And if you have finished, just read over what you've written. All right. Okay. My ding-a-ling-a-ling is coming back on. So let's everyone pins down. Let's come back in and we're going to reconnect. So my first question is, how'd that go for everybody? So there's something about journaling, but there is something even more powerful about actually speaking the words out loud. It's a good time to pull up your voice note, and for future as well, like pull up your voice notes in your phone and talk to yourself. It's actually something super powerful that I used to do in the morning. I would do a future vision of what my day looked like, and I'd do it on my voice notes. And so I would just leave myself a voice message and then delete it, right? It's that exercise of speaking it out loud. When we say things out loud, they go out here and they go in the ears as if somebody else is saying it to us. And it's actually cognitively quite amazing what it does for us. Okay, so when we have a big vision, what happens to us is we set this North Star and then we go to do something and we're either overwhelmed by the actions. I am the best at, you got to write 3 things that you're going to get done today. I'm like, well, I've got 10, right? And the reason that happens to us is because we're looking at, I'm going to go to the gym, right? But I haven't joined the gym. And I actually don't have any gym clothes. And I don't even know where the gym is or what the hours of the gym are. What do I eat? What am I going to do when I go to the gym? Right. And going to the gym sounds like an action step, but it isn't actually an action step. And so we've got this goal. I'm just going to keep going with that analogy. I'm going to lose 20 pounds, right? And that's the goal. But we then go on a diet for 2 days and we don't lose 20 pounds. And so we're comparing the actions that we took. Like I didn't eat for 2 days and I didn't lose 20 pounds. And so we feel like we've failed. So the key is that we set our North Star. We know what our goal is. And then we come back to our day-to-day reality. And the key is even getting smaller on the day-to-day, at the beginning of the day or the night before. I'm going to do these 3 things tomorrow, right? They're the 3 steps that I have to do to get to where I'm going. And then at the end of the day, we sit down and we write down what the 3 wins of the day were. And we don't compare those 3 wins necessarily with the 3 things that we set out to do. We compare them with what actually happened and we celebrate exactly what happened, right? And we're not comparing what happened to where we're going in a year from now, because we will give up very quickly. So we want to really pull things down to the right now, day to day. what is it that we can do, and what are the small steps that we can take so that we feel like we're getting somewhere. And as we all know, we might not actually end up where we were planning on going. We might end up somewhere so much better and so much cooler and so much more fantastical. And the whole idea is that we don't want to say no to the flow of life, right? There's two things that we can listen to in life. We can listen to the voice in our head. Jenny and I are very big on not listening. Don't listen to the voice in your head. Or you can follow the flow of life. My dog introduces me to people. I don't know why my dog chose this person for me to talk to today, but I will always talk to them. And I believe that every single person that I meet has the reason why I'm having a conversation with them, because it's the flow of life. And sometimes we say yes to things that we're not quite sure of why we're saying yes to, and then they end up in the most fantastical places, right? Okay, so our next exercise here is we are going to, I want you to take a little read of your future vision again, read through it, and I want you to pick 3 main actions, big ones. It's a whole year, so 3 big action steps that you are going to have to take in order to get from where you are right now to where you're going in a year from now. And then you're going to number them 1, 2, 3. Like, what's the first one that has to happen? What's the second? And what's the third? So I'm going to give you just a couple of minutes to do that. And don't stress about getting these right. You can always change things. All right, how are we doing? Do we need a little more time? Are we good? Okay, so we've got those 3 actions. We've numbered them 1, 2, 3. I want you to take number 1. And now I want you to break that down into 3 more actions. And I want you to repeat that. And what we're going to do is from here, I'm going to give you a moment, and you're going to keep repeating this exercise. So number 1, you're breaking it into 3, 1, 2, 3. Number 1, breaking it into 3, 1, 2, 3, until you can get an action that you can commit to taking in the next 48 hours. We're at the end of the workshop. I did want to let you know about our Start Where You Are program that Jenny and I are doing for the month of February. So it is a 30-day program. And the idea with the program is basically we are going to work together to keep this process going. So it's 4 weeks. We have a coaching call, a live coaching call once a week, where we get together, reset, figure out what our week looks like, figure out what our goals are, and then look at the ways that we're going to work through the week together. And then each day you'll have a 5 to 10 minute exercise to do that will be something to do with gratitude, grounding, journaling, setting the wins, and just cycling through different exercises that really bring us into this space and allow us to keep moving when we try and get in our own way. And it's an accountability container. If we have the ability to set up, if you need an accountability buddy, then that's an opportunity. If you don't need an accountability buddy, then it's really just about having that space to come in. Every week we'll do, as I say, an exercise similar to something like this, where we just reset ourselves, get that confidence back to just keep moving through. How it works is that we'll have one clear focus. So we'll start with one thing that you want to move forward on, not 10 things. And then you'll be guided to choose that clear, grounded start point. Then we'll have small actions, as I said, breaking it down into the 5 to 10 minutes. No big leaps. We're not trying to overhaul our lives, just small actions that feel possible and keep you moving. We've got the live coaching calls to check in with what's working, adjusting what feels sticky, get support, perspective, and encouragement. Big thing here is you don't have to have it figured out to show up. That's what the call is for. That's what the space is for. And then we just repeat the same step over and over again. So we're not giving you new tasks every day. It'll just be repeating small actions so that that momentum can build naturally. You start to trust yourself. You get that consistency and knowing that you're not doing it alone. So you'll be held in a space that's calm, be encouraged, be grounded. And the whole key is that it's about progress, not necessarily about what you progress on. It's about feeling like you are actually moving, feeling like you are winning. Jenny, do you have anything else that you'd like to say?
I don't think so. I just appreciate everybody coming today and joining us in this container. It's been so much fun, and I love that the connections are made. It sort of blows my mind sometimes when technology seems to magically put the right people together. Thanks, everybody, so much for joining us on this episode of Writing in the Weeds. We hope that you found this workshop helpful and that you have one small step you can begin in the next 24 to 48 hours. If you're still struggling or have more questions, please do reach out to us. We're happy to brainstorm with you a little bit and see if we can help get you moving from where you are towards your goals. So check out the show notes below. The information about the Start Where You Are program is included down there, so you can find out all the details. And if you found this helpful, please hit like, subscribe, and share so that we can stay in touch. We look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for hanging on through this wild ride through the weeds today, and we'll see you next week.